it's important to understand how the caste system has shaped the destiny of the Indian subcontinent and how it has subjugated this entire continent to such an extent that if you look closely, you'll understand that Pakistan itself is a creation of, or rather creation due to, or creation as a consequence of the caste system in India. Not only that, we also would know that because caste system trained the large population, the entire population of the subcontinent into slavery, because the caste system ingrained that Slavic mindset in this entire subcontinent, to that extent it was easier for anyone to invade and colonize this country. Right? Imagine, I'll come to that point, when I said that Pakistan is a creation as a consequence of caste system. But first let's understand how this Slavic mindset, how this Gulami kind of mindset was made a culture, so to say, in the subcontinent. You have a system which has religious sanction, which has the sanction of the gods, if you have to believe Manusmriti, that one particular community, one particular caste is the most superior. They are the children of God. They are born out of the ear of Brahma. The rest of them are Shudras, including women. Just imagine if you subject someone to slavery for 10 years or for, say, a generation of 20 years or whatever. There are such experiments, in fact, there are such scientific experiments, in fact, where, anthropological experiments wherein human species, human specimens were kept in captivity for a particular time, and then observations was made. And human beings which were kept under captivity, which were subjugated, which were treated like slaves for a considerable amount of time, they tend to believe that their destiny, their life is all about serving, all about surrendering to someone. I'm talking about this experiment of 10 years, 20 years. Now imagine when an entire population undergoes this training for thousands of years with religious sanction, with divine sanction, what would happen to that community? What would happen to that population? And we're not talking about a small segment of population. We're talking about largely every individual in this country, in this subcontinent, except Brahmin men. Even Brahmin women were treated like Shudras. It is not just about slavery, it's also about keeping this entire population away from any kind of education, any kind of awareness, any kind of culture. Okay. Their only culture was to serve the Brahmin. If you serve the Brahmin, you'll find moksha. Maybe in the next life, you may be born a Brahmin. So that was the culture, that was the training of generations together. Now what happens is that this one small segment of the population is also running in the name of religious text, in the name of divine sanctions and rituals, they're also advising the kings. They're also, any king, for example. So they're advised, they're Raj Purohits, they're Raj Gurus. They will preach what is Raj Dharma. They will preach what a trader has to do. They will say what a Kshatriya has to do. They will say what a Shudra has to do. So they literally ran the society as their own intellectual, cultural fiefdom. So one thing was sure, this entire population was trained for thousands of years to surrender to whoever is stronger. One thing. So that Slavic mindset is ingrained in this society. Now, since then, your Brahmins know Vedas, your Brahmins know Manusmriti, your Brahmins know all these Upanishads and whatever, Shastra, everything. Maybe beautiful books, maybe beautiful books with beautiful verses. That's a different thing. But this large population does not know any of this. They only know, they are only told to obey. You have to obey the Brahmin. Now, when an invasion happens, when somebody invades on a dynasty or a kingdom or an empire in India, what happens is immediately the population surrenders itself to whoever is stronger, whoever wins. They immediately surrender. That has been the culture here. You never taught a culture wherein you are asked to ask questions. You are encouraged to ask questions. You are encouraged to be your own self. No, you are not taught that. What culture are we talking about? Even if an Ekalavya learns something, an art of archery on his own, despite being rejected by a teacher, what a teacher does once he finds out this random boy had learned all on his own, what does he do? He asks him to sacrifice his thumb, without which he cannot practice archery. That is the brutality, that is the cold brutality of this culture. Now, when this entire population is trained to be a slave, whoever comes, it may be Mughals, it may be Dutch, it may be French, it may be British. So this entire country is a country of slaves. So anybody comes and makes you a slave. So you become slaves. It's easier to colonize you. So that colonial mindset is there. One aspect. To that extent, India was waiting to be colonized. One aspect. To that extent, caste system is the reason to make this country a slave to anybody who comes. Maybe British, maybe Mughal, anybody. Now, second aspect is about this Islamic and so-called foreign religions coming to India. Now, when this culture of Vedic supremacy, culture of someone being superior and supreme, the blessed one, the God's chosen one, by birth. And when the God and the moksha and the nirvana and whatever you call it, salvation or religious awareness, when all this is supposed to be the exclusive domain of one particular community, the rest of the community is going to feel alienated, not from you, but from the higher things like spirituality and God. You don't let them into your temples, not because they're Shudra. Shudra is one thing. Another is you have stored your money there. All your temples are banks then. All your temples are the places where your kings used to deposit their jewelry. They used to deposit their gold. They used to deposit their treasure in the temples. And that's another reason why there was so much of protection, there's so much of exclusiveness about the temples. And probably that's why even Mughals, whenever they came, they attacked temples, not to destroy your temples, but to loot your jewelry and gold. Now, this lower caste You have not given them God. You have kept him away from the God. You have kept him only to serve you. You have kept him only as a slave for you. Then what happens? By accident, by incidentally, maybe for some other reasons, Arabs came to Malabar in Kerala, and they started trade. When they started trade, they felt that these people, the lower caste people, were more affable to them. And also the lower caste people felt that these people, these Arabs were not, avoiding them like their upper caste brethren did in India. So that intermingling happened. You had anyway left your lower caste away, you had anyway dumped them, so they went to Islam. So now your own discrimination, your own caste system created an opportunity for some other religion to come and establish itself here. No, Islam is created. These Indian Muslims or Pakistani Muslims did not come from Iran or or Persia. They did not come from the Middle East. They were here. Now, when this kind of exclusiveness in terms of religion and spirituality, left a huge domain open for conversions, then they will certainly opt that. You are not respected your people. They are some other religion respecting, so they took it. Now, because they took another religion, you start hating them. You say, you had been my slave, how come you went to another religion? You start hating them. You start treating, you feel it is a great betrayal to you. So that's the root of all your rifts, Hindu-Muslim rifts in India. No, this was not something that British would lose easily, So they would see an opportunity here to see that this country can be divided in terms of religion so that they can rule you better. So they did that. They played on this Hindu-Muslim card. Fine. But because you could not live together well, you could not, achieve a harmony, you could not achieve a religious integrity, there was need for Pakistan. At least there was a political space created for Jinnah to ask for Pakistan. So Pakistan happens.